Hi, I'm Roy Hudson. Stand by for Sean. It'll make your day bright.
Good day, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome to Look Around Florida. Let's put the disclaimer out. So, Jason, don't pull me aside in about a week. Or our division commander, Calvin Hart. So, we got Jason Boshers. He's in the background. We're waiting for some people to join the chat. If you guys are watching it, you can type in YouTube or Facebook. Let me know you're here. Hey, TJ, good to see 1209 in the house. Hey, Jack, good to see you, Mr. DuPont. I probably screwed that up, Jack. Sorry. But since we get a little bit more people coming in, we'll bring Jason up. Or, hey, Beth. And we'll find out what's going on at HQ, the museum, and very, very important event. Only a week away. It's in Arkansas. I'm looking forward to it. I know quite a bit of you are. If you're in the Florida division, make sure you get in touch with our division commander and our division adjutant. They are planning a division get-together up in Arkansas. Make sure they have your number and all that so they can contact you where everybody is. Hey, our division chaplain, Kim Hofecker, is in the chat. Hey, Kim, how you doing tonight, buddy? So, if you're in the Florida division, make sure you get with Calvin and Rick Roberts that you are going and your phone number. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be sending out a division text message to everybody that's going to the reunion in case some of us are having problems. And the get together, I believe Calvin did say Friday night that we're going to be having to get together. Hey, Keith. Hey, Jeffro. Exactly, Kim. I just saw you know. That's right. We're division strong. You know, besides the SCV, we have our lovely ladies that support us in all efforts that we do with the OCR. They are currently recruiting. They got various different chapters throughout the state of Florida. If you love the Confederacy, love supporting the SCV, and you don't have the heritage, you can still come in the SCV as a friend. Other option would be the OCR. So, you know, hey, Linda and Roy, good to see you. Alrighty, we're going to bring our commander-in-chief up and see what's going on with HQ and the reunion next week. G'day, Commander. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. How is everybody?
So far, it looks like everybody's doing pretty good. We're up to 11 people already watching the show.
That's good. That's good. How's everything going on down in Florida?
We're holding our own. Everybody's gearing up for next week, just like you are, sir.
Is something happening next week? I haven't heard of anything going on. Is something?
I got a message from the Linda Brigade about a party at your house.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. Yes, everybody's. I was up at HQ today, and it takes several weeks for the crew at National to get prepared and everything together to go to reunion. Because, you know, they have to bring the merchandise and they can't bring unlimited everything. So they have to plan, and which they've been doing. And you know, they have all this stuff setting out. Their work areas are full and staged and ready to go. I'll be leaving out on Monday, and we're going to get there. In case anybody, you know, needs anything, we're going to be talking to the local camp, the host camp that's doing it, and the good guys in the Arkansas division, Lloyd Mott, their division commander, and just helping them out in any way I can. And then we start Actually, first piece of business is on Wednesday at 2 p.m. We have the pre-reunion GEC meeting, and then we'll start first thing Thursday. Hotels thrown a curveball or two as far as needing to change rooms. And it's say the Army of Tennessee meeting on Saturday was going to happen in this room. Well, now it's going to have to happen in this room. We know the GEC meeting on Wednesday has been moved to a different room. So everybody's going to have to, and we've already got the schedule and the room numbers and who's where. So there's going to have to be some adjustments made. So as we work through this, everybody's each day is going to have to listen to the announcements because if you go by the schedule, might not be in that room at all. And this is just one of those things that happens. You have to. There's always going to be adjustments. There's always going to be something that comes up, and you can't get upset about it. You just have to deal with it and make your adjustments and keep it rolling. Because the main thing is to have a great reunion, and that's what. After talking with Adam, and I've talked to past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney. Okay, we want to have ourselves a good, positive reunion because we realize all of us are getting together and we're spending a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort to get together. And when we get there, yes, we need to conduct the business of the organization, but we also need to have ourselves a good time and enjoy it and socialize and be with each other. And leave there with a very, very positive frame of mind. And that is what the GEC's been working toward. How can we have a good, strong, positive reunion? That's where we are. So I appreciate you inviting me on. I know that we've talked a time or two about me coming on. This is actually the first Tuesday I have had available in quite a while. There's either traveling or speaking or actually my camp meets on the third Tuesday. So, that's one Tuesday I miss right there a month. So thank you for having me on and, getting ready for National. Looking forward to seeing everybody this coming week. Everybody needs to be safe in their travels. Keep your head on a swivel because I travel a bunch and there's a lot of people that don't pay a lot of attention out there. So you're driving very defensively because you don't trust anybody about anything. You don't trust them to stay in their lane. You don't trust them to not come across in front of you or pull out on you. So, everybody be safe in their travels and hope to see everybody Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, being safe on the road. I'm a CDL driver, so yeah, it's crazy out there, especially down in my neck of the woods.
Oh, yes, it would be. It would be.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a question pop up in the comments, and it's from Jack DuPont, and I'm going to talk about Jack in an event I had there this past weekend, but I want to answer his question, and the answer is no, it will not be online. You will have to be present. Only members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans can be in the business session. Now, we might have the opening ceremonies. They might be broadcast. I know that we've done that in the past.
Yep.
But as the business session itself, no, it will not be online. You're going to need to be present to be a part of the business session. And, to me, that's also a wonderful part of it because there's some people, that's the only time I see them is at reunion. I'll go an entire year, not see them, and then spend several hours talking and catching up on everything. So, and that's part of it is the fellowship and the camaraderie. But I saw his question come up, and I thought I might go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, Jack, also, I know me, the guys from SCV chat, we're talking about doing a group thing together. So most likely we'll be talking about some of the highlights. But, the commander-in-chief is right. Most of the business stuff is conducted behind doors.
Yes. and you have to be a member of the organization. Let's just say for the welcome. For the welcome, we're going to have Children of the Confederacy in there, UDC, MOS&B, which they're most of them are SCV members, but SUVCW, which is Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, they're not members of our organization, so they can be there during the opening because it's just a ceremony. And then when the ceremony ends, we'll halt and we'll clear out the room. Then we'll start our business session because you have to be a member. I do know that there's a lot of people, and I see where Jack has put on there. There's an app, and you can register. We haven't done any of that. It's not going to business sessions, not going to be online. Now, I have also been part of these daily interviews that SCV Chat's done. At the end of the business session on Thursday, Thursday afternoon, they do a recap. And I've been part of those, and those are fine. Those can be broadcast, but it's not actually part of the business session. That's something that's done afterwards and separately. I hope I completely answered the question. So,
yeah, because I know I'm going through the chat right now, see if there any more questions popped up.
Well, I can go ahead and talk about this past weekend. Jack DuPont invited me down to Picayune, Mississippi. His camp, Gainesville Volunteers Camp 373, they were having a 28th year celebration because the camp was rechartered on July the 7th of 1995. Excuse me, July 4th of 1995, they were rechartered. And it just, they wanted to have a 28th anniversary. They invited me to come down. I presented them with a charter because they have a copy of their original charter, but they don't have the original charter. So I presented them with another charter with the original date, and I wrote some stuff at the bottom to say, okay, this is the 28th anniversary. This is not the original charter. And then the guys signed it. They had an absolutely great event. It was well attended. The room was full, and it had been planned out. It had been thought out. The food was great. We had an absolutely great time. And I just want to thank them for that, for putting it on and for allowing me to be there. It really was a good time. And I want to congratulate Jack for all of his work and helping to put this together. And then I want to congratulate the camp. 28 years is something else. But I also want to, 28 years that's really a good number. But there's also something else that comes to my mind. They have 6 of the founding members still alive and in the camp. 6. And that is strong. And that is wonderful. And to be able to recognize them and to recognize the camp was well done. And I'm proud of them. So I just wanted to touch on that since I saw Jack in the chat.
Oh, that's not a problem, sir. I appreciate that. Jack, congratulations on 28 years. Oh, you had 48 people there. Congratulations on that, Jack. Jack, if you're going with to reunion, I do want to buy you a beer or sweet tea, depending on what you want.
Well, no, Jack's young.
Okay.
He's only 14. So we can't. I'm not buying him any alcohol. I'm not buying him a beer. No. And I'm going to encourage nobody else to buy him one either. Yay, nobody. Like you said, I'll buy him a sweet tea, but that's going to be the extent of it.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Commander. You're coming to Florida in September, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to be down. Have you ever just drawn a blank on the camp name? I just drew a blank on the camp name. Victor Smith invited me to come down, and I'm going to be speaking there on September the 12th. I'm looking forward to coming back down again. I've been in Florida a few times already this year. I'm looking forward to coming down again and visiting with the camp. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Hey, Victor.
There he is. Yep. I didn't. 741 wasn't coming in my head. A lot of times I remember camps by their number. 747 was coming into my head, and I go, no, that's not right because that's a plane. So 741. Thank you for jumping in there, Victor. I'll be talking to you at reunion. I hope you're going to be at reunion, and we'll set up, and we'll be looking forward to coming down in September.
Whoa. So you said you had an interesting day today at HQ.
Oh, we really did. A gentleman by the name of Norman Dassinger contacted Adam about bringing some artifacts up. Now, Norman, this is the father. There's Norman, and there's Norman Jr. And Norman, the daddy, he is a past commander-in-chief. He was commander-in-chief in I want to say he was 1994 through 1996. But he could have been 1992 through 1994. But I want to say he was 94 to 96. He was one of the men that was very instrumental in us getting the Elm Springs. The SCV bought Elm Springs in 1992, and he was on the GEC when Elm Springs was bought. He was also very instrumental in getting he said he was commander-in-chief when the Sons of Confederate Veterans were able to get the Forest Boyhood Home in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. So Norman Dassinger he played a huge part during that time. And him and I had a great little conversation because there is a soldier, Navy, off the CSS Alabama, the Simeon Cummins. In 1863, the CSS Alabama was in South Africa, and it was getting retooled, refitted, and resupplied. And he went inland to do some hunting, and there was a hunting accident, one in which he reached out, he grabbed the barrel of the gun, not knowing the gun was loaded. It was loaded with buck and ball, and he took a shot in the chest, and he died there in South Africa. And he was buried in a family cemetery nearby. When the SCV bought the house in 1992, there was a discussion that began to do, would the SCV be interested? And he was commander-in-chief when Simeon Cummins was disinterred in South Africa and brought to Elm Springs and reinterred in 1994. So Norman Dassinger played just absolutely a huge part in that critical time in our organization. And then he contacted and said, we have got some artifacts. And his wife is past UDC president, very strong Confederate family. They had worked with several museums all over Alabama throughout the years. And over the years, as museums closed, moved, they have ended up with, and they had these artifacts, and the UDC wanted to donate them. And donate them, not loan, donate. And they are absolutely fantastic. One of them is an original frock coat. Now, do not know exactly who it belonged to, but it is chewed all to pieces. It's Adam and I were talking about how are we going to display this frock coat, because it's going to go out on display. We can't put something like that back. It's going to have to be laid out flat. There's no way for it to be put on a mannequin or anything like that. And then there was a Confederate general, and they have a picture of him, but they also have his sword, and they also have his Navy revolver, and that donated that to us as well. And then there's several handwritten soldiers' letters home, and the original letters. And some of them have been transcribed so you can read them, but it's a lot of these original letters, and they're from privates and regular soldiers. There's a series of some that the private never come home. He got killed during fighting. And it was just several other things that has been accumulated. As you know, we're putting the house, Elm Springs, back to the 1840, 1850 time frame. You know, the house was began construction in 1835 and finished in 1837. So we want to put it back to that 1840 to 1850 time frame. And we can now, with the offices moved out of the home and into the museum. And some of these artifacts that their time period, like a cast iron waffle maker, and I had never seen one before. And it was, something that was about the size of a bear claw, and it had these long handle on it. And well, that's going to be a great thing to put in the 1840s kitchen because it is from that time frame. Original candle, when they made candles, they dropped the wax off in them. A lot of things that were like that. Then 7 original artillery shells. I said shells, but that's wrong. They're the round ball and the solid shot. And they feel a little bit more than 12 pounds. These are probably 18 pounders. And there's one in there that looks to be close to a 20 pounder. So we have 7 of these original shells, original round ball. So, it was a good day. And to actually get to talk to Mr. Dassinger and his wife and his grandson, it was really a good day at Elm Springs. We have had several things that have come in lately. We had some things that were delivered on Friday of this past week. And we had another shipment of books come in. You go into the library and on the table up, they're stacked 2 feet tall and rows of them. So we have well over 10,000 books already in our library, and it's growing. We're getting some pretty good artifacts that are coming in as well. I think this, the jacket is one front coat, really front coat attention, but something else. There was a star off of a flag that had spent the entire 4 years in the conflict. So it's, and it doesn't have a whole lot of detail on it. Just have the star that's all that's left of the flag, or one of these souvenir pieces off of the flag at the end. But it says that you have to excuse me. It looks like we're having a little bit of weather on this end over here, or we're thinking. I keep blinking in and out.
Yes, sir. I was just gonna say something, sir.
Yes, sir. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time I blinked her out. If I lose you on here, I'll try to get back in. Okay. So we've got a lot of good things coming, but that star, and I've thought about that battle flag. What an interesting piece that is, and it's not a battle flag; it's just a star that is off of it, and I could just see it on the First National. Starting the war, or maybe even a battle flag, but the battle flag didn't come along until 1862, April, May of 1862. So you're looking at a First National at the start of the war, and I could see this on a First National and it going the entire time. So this is we've had a few good days at the museum as far as donations coming in. A lot of work is being continued. I've talked with Jimmy Hill, and we got some more pieces that we're going to be putting up along the wall. The amount of time people are spending in there. This is the first time that Dr. Norman Dassinger had been inside the museum, and he was extremely impressed with everything that is going on and everything that has happened. He goes, "This is the perfect place for all of these original artifacts." And that makes you feel good to, a man such as him who has been around and seen museums, to come in and go, "This is the perfect place for this. This is the perfect place." And all of the work that has been done, I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of everybody that has contributed. and we have so many people coming in and out of the museum. There were people that were there today, and I wasn't there that long. I was there for maybe 3 hours, and we had several groups come through at that time. When I worked this past Thursday there, I gave family tours. I had 3 families come in, which now that we've gotten into the summer, it's turned into that. In the off season, we did not have. We had couples, older couples, married couples, retired couples that were coming in to see the museum. And now that summer has opened up, we've had a lot of kids coming in, and it's really a good thing. And the museum is doing well. If you get an opportunity, I'm going to encourage anybody and everybody to come. If you're a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, you have contributed to this museum. Just by paying your dues, you contribute $3 to the museum. And I want to thank y'all for everything that you've done. And this belongs to us. Yep. This doesn't belong to me. This doesn't belong to National. It doesn't belong to Sean. It belongs to me and Sean and everybody in the 1209 and everybody in Florida and everybody in Tennessee. If you're a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, it belongs to all of us. And come and see your museum. Yes.
Hey, Commander, interesting question came up from Jack. He pretty much asked, where was the headquarters before Elm Springs?
Well, it was, according to Norman Dasinger, there really wasn't what we would call. It would have been in Jackson, because that's where Dr. McCain was located. Because when they bought Elm Springs, he said today that they were looking at several other locations and were going to get a headquarters. So I don't know that there was ever a headquarters before. It wasn't like a place, okay, we were in Picayune, Mississippi. We started in Picayune, Mississippi, or Jacksonville, Florida, or even Jacksonville, Alabama. It's not like that we had a building there and we had our resources there, and then we sold it and moved it to here, to Elm Springs. I don't ever think that was the case. I think the most of the artifacts or the early start of the Sons would have been where Dr. McCain was, because Dr. McCain was almost solely responsible for bringing back the Sons of Confederate Veterans after World War II. You were down to just a couple of thousand members, and he was responsible for bringing it back. So I don't know that you could say that we had a headquarters, unless you probably wanted to say Dr. McCain's office, or Dr. McCain's garage or dining room or somewhere like that was our headquarters, because I've heard it said several times that we pretty much operated out of a shoebox. Yeah. So nothing like what we have now. And as far as I know, there was never, a true place like that we had. And Michael C. Hardy is correct. Yeah. We need a good UCV, SCV history. And Forrest Dawes, who is my historian in chief, he's working on that. And I know that his son Harrison is working on that as well. Yes, we want to have a history because, well, we're creating history every day. And while we can document this, we have to go back and document before. And I'm actually encouraging, and Forrest Dawes come up with this idea, to have camps send camp members to HQ and do the research of what HQ has on those camps. Because we still have all of these filing cabinets of every camp that there's ever been. I mean, we just mentioned Camp 741 a little bit earlier, and we could have 741 come up there, pull their file, and some of these are, that thick, and then some of them are that thick, and some of them are multiple envelopes. So, yeah.
I have a question for you on that. What, because the first camp I joined the SCV over 20 some years ago fell apart about a year, 2 years after. Will their paperwork still be up
Yes.
at HQ?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's good to
You
know.
take a camp that went defunct
Yeah.
in the 90s. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. Now, everything over the last handful of years has been digitized, but everything up until then, there's paper copies, and it is wonderful to go through those. Somebody will send something looking for our charter, da 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 da. Who are the founding members? Boom, boom, boom. And you go and you pull this out and you look at a roster of a camp, and it's 1982, and you see some names and you go, oh, wait a minute, I remember him. His son is still a member, and I see him at reunions. You know, it's really that kind of stuff, and it is filing cabinets after filing cabinets after filing cabinets. Right now, we currently have about 868 active counts in our organization. But if you look at our count numbers, we're well on up there, you know, in the 23, 24, 2,500 range. And it takes, I don't even know exactly which was the last one. A few of them I've fooled with lately have been recharters. They haven't been the development of a new camp. They brought back an old camp.
Ooh.
And you can do that if the new camp is within 50 miles of where the original camp was. So you can recharter an old camp. And yeah, there's rules and guidelines and everything that we have to follow, because you don't want to take and move it from one state to another state. It just, you know, wouldn't be the same. And so it's dozens of filing cabinets, and it's going to take some people a long time to go through all of it.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a good place to start, is for the camps to send their members up there and to digitize it, and then start documenting each camp's history. And when we start documenting each camp's history, we'll be able to start documenting the history of the SCV. And then we can work on going back to the UCV. A lot of Dr. McCain's original papers are in libraries down in Mississippi. And we'll have to go to those, because you might have articles of incorporation or something like that in there that but that paperwork belongs to them, not to us.
Right.
So Forrest Dawes has been going, and he's been working on the UCV history, because I think we need to document our history as well.
Yeah.
Because in 50 years, they're going to be asking who was this and who was that and what did they do. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I came across a friend of mine. Her dad and me was in the old AC Myers camp here in Florida. So she hit me up and found a picture back when I was 18 years old of me and her dad and all the members of that camp. It really brought back memories.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's only me and another guy that's alive from that camp.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, and that's something about, you know, when you've been a member for the longer time as you know, as one of the guys I was working with today, he's been a member since 1984.
Wow.
You know, and, you know, so he's been a member nearly 40 years.
Yeah.
And next year he'll be a member 40 years. And it's David Cost. He's out of Spring Hill, Tennessee. Great guy, super guy. And, you know, talking with him, and you realize all the people that he knows and he has met and he has socialized with over the years.
Yeah.
We really have a great organization. We have a lot of good members and a lot of good fellowship in it.
Yeah, I really felt proud. This past division reunion, where Calvin Hart, our division commander, presented a new camp their charter at a reunion. That was so much of a very good movement going forward.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm glad that we're growing that way. And I'm not going to spread water on the fire here and cool everything down, but I do want people to be aware of something. Our membership is down about 1,000 from where we were a year ago. Now, here's the problem that we have. A lot of this is due to attrition. We have lost over 2,200 people since 2020. And what I mean by lost is they're no longer with us on this earth. They have crossed the river and rested in the shade of the trees. And we are not bringing them in as fast as we are losing them. And that is really, Adam and I have talked a lot about it, and we think that is the reason why that our numbers are dwindling, because we have had new camps come in, we have had new memberships come in, but in a 2 to 3 year period, we have lost over 2,200 people. We've lost 2,200 men to death. They just passed on, and we haven't replaced that many people. We haven't, and I hate to say it that way, and I actually feel horrible right now saying it this way. But if you lose 2,200 people and you don't recruit 2,200 people, you're going to have a negative number. So when we started talking about, okay, well, if we've lost 2,200 people and we've only recruited 1,000 or 1,200, then that's how we can explain this, because everything's positive, so to speak. The museum is going well. I kind of sometimes get this feeling that, as the Kennedy twins like to call them, John Q. Public, the people that are out there that are not SCV people, but are conservative-minded people, Southern-minded people, heritage-minded people, are starting and have begun this huge pushback. And, we don't get a lot of the threats that we did. I'll put it this way. When we were doing the forestry internment and we had to meet with the TBI, the FBI, and go through all of our different scenarios, and the agent from the FBI come up to Adam and I, and he said, I know you get a lot of threats, but if you get anything out of the ordinary, let us know. So, threats have always been common. We're not getting as many of those now. So we're starting to feel, there is this pushback. So the only thing that we can feel like is that, we are an aging organization, and Father Time and the cycle of life, it's taken our membership away from us, our members away from us at a rapid pace. And I would like for everybody to remember that, I put something in my article in the Confederate Veteran a while back. I don't remember exactly what month it was, to where I was talking about doing a net +1. And that is, okay, what you end this year, because our year ends July 31st. That's when our fiscal year ends. Our next year will start August the 1st. Now, as far as paying your dues, you do have a grace period. We allow that 1 month grace period in August. So, and dues, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, dues are coming in slow. Now, we know that a lot of the MRSs were going out slow. And part of the reason for that was they didn't have envelopes. So a lot of the MRS statements that were going out, they were a month late going out because the printer did not have the envelopes. So right now we're behind, because I was talking with Adam today. There were no memberships that were paid. As he told me, the mailbox was empty. That's how he said it. The mailbox was empty, which means that nobody had mailed any memberships in. And we're hoping that a lot of people are taking advantage of Salesforce and using Salesforce to pay their dues. And if they do that, then we're not going to get as many shipped in. But we do know that there's a lot of people that they're going to ship in their dues, and they're late coming in. Even if they're doing it on Salesforce, it's not coming as rapidly as it needs. And then you take the fact that we have, and as Adam and I have been talking, and we think that this is due to attrition, and aging membership, and not we're losing them faster than we're recruiting them. And I hate for it to sound that way, but it's probably a reality that we are looking at. Yeah.
Welcome, Commander Hart. Yeah, because for me, I'm also the adjutant for my camp, and I was doing my camp dues and all that, get them done out of the way early, and I had a problem with the website, and I got with Eric Pavetti, and eventually we got it squared away.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just wondering, is there still issues with the website, or was that just a fluke thing?
It will happen every now and then. There's a glitch somewhere. We did find one. I was there on Thursday of last week, and there was one that was found one day last week. It was either on Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And we contacted the vendor for it, which is Candoris. And Candoris, they were working on fixing the problem. Whatever issue occurred, it was actually a bug in their code. And we are working through those every now and then. Okay. We'll come across a particular situation. It doesn't read something right, something happens, but they had a bug in their code and they were fixing it. Because I was talking to Mr. Pavetti, because I was getting some stuff ready to take down to Jack DuPont and Picayune. And I was talking with him, and he was actually on the phone with them. And they said that, yes, they found out what the problem was. They were working on it and expect to have it fixed within a day or two. So, but these bugs are going to pop up from time to time. Yeah. And when we do, we'll get them fixed. So it's, I heard somebody, I read on here, somebody asking how many members do we currently have. Well, we're a tick under 27,000. That's where we are. We're a tick under 27,000. Now, like I said, we have been in the 20, we were in nearly 29 last year. We were actually a tick over 29 last year. But we have, we're looking back now, and we think that attrition is just, it's taking a toll on it because our membership age. And we do know that, we actually got several members to come back. When I was Lieutenant Commander in Chief, I sent the letter out for the men that had been in arrears. And then Donnie Kennedy did it this year. And we had a lot of members have already come back. Just people that for some reason didn't pay their dues, forgot to pay their dues or whatever. And we sent it to everybody that was 2 years in arrear. And there you go. All of a sudden, so we're getting people back. We're just really going to need to recruit. We need camps out there growing. I was talking about my net +1, and it's just okay. You finish this year, this fiscal year, and let's say you have 28 members. Well, how about next year have 29 members? Yeah. And I know that you're not going to have everybody that's going to re-up. And I know that you could lose some members due to death or moving or whatever, but try to recruit enough that you are back. If you lose, if you have 5 people, let's say you have 5 people that won't re-up, recruit 6. So that's, that was that whole net +1 thing. So, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about something. It seemed like I remember we got all the way up to about 36,000 members. I think that was the time and of an incident, and there was this big, huge pushback, and our membership jumped over a 2-year period up to 36,000. In 3 years, all of those 6,000 additional ones, because we'd been at 30,000, all those 6,000 additional ones were gone. These were the people that just come in. They reacted to this action. They joined the SCV, and they either didn't like it, and they had no intention of coming, or maybe whatever. I don't know, but they were gone. And we lost those 6,000 members in about 3 years. And we have been hovering in the 30,000 range, but since 2020, we have noticed it's just picking away at us. And right now, last year we were tick over 29,000, and right now we're tick under 28,000 right now. So
that's cool. Now, Calvin, I asked him here in a little bit, but I remember seeing this on the website years ago. Now, on the website, there used to be stuff that was SCV focused on recruitment, radio ads, videos that were mainly Pacific SCV. And I know that I think it was the Kennedys that did the faces of the SCV series. Have they thought about updating those videos or doing them again?
Oh, yes. We're talking about that all the time. You had Larry McClooney when he was Lieutenant Commander in Chief. He did the ads that you see on there that has, Robert E. Lee and all of these ones that he did. Have those. The Kennedy twins have done some. You have a few of them that even go even farther back. And is there always going to be a potential to redo any of these? Looking back at the videos that I did that were about M Springs in the museum, I can look now, and that was just a couple of years ago. I can look back and go, okay, we need to do this now. We need to do this now. So there's somebody who's going to be doing that. And Calvin Hart is right. The Lieutenant Commander in Chief, his job is recruitment and retention. And that is what he is supposed to do. The thing that I found out when I was in that position is it is two separate jobs. They like to lop them together, but recruitment and retention are separate things. To recruit somebody, first of all, you have to get their attention. You have to get yourself out there in public. You have to get their attention. And not that you actually have to sell their history, but you have to sell the need for them to join the organization. Okay, this is what the Sons of Confederate Veterans are doing. We're doing this. We're fighting this lawsuit. We're protecting this monument. We are working on the museum to where they can come and learn the complete and true. You have to sell the organization. You don't have to sell them their history. A lot of people are interested in their history, but you have to convince them that, okay, this is something that you need to do. And so you recruit somebody is one thing. Now you've got them. Now what do you do to keep them? And, that's a completely different deal. I explain it this way, and I get a lot of odd looks when I explain it this way. It's a difference between getting a girlfriend and keeping a girlfriend. When you want, and you're looking for a girlfriend and getting a girlfriend, you have to pay attention. You have to read between the lines. There's all these things that you have to do to get a girlfriend. Okay. And it's all right for the first couple of dates that if you don't remember her middle name and you don't know what dressing she wants on her salad. But by the time you have been dating for a little while, you best know her middle name and you best know the dressing that she wants. And it is the same, but that is the difference between getting somebody and keeping somebody. And that's what it is. You're getting somebody, and now you're going to have to keep them. There's some of us like me, I could never ever see leaving this organization. I might do something stupid and boneheaded, and they have to throw me out of the organization. But I'm not just going to up and walk off. I'm not that. But there's some people who's feel about this. They're not quite as strong as a lot of us. And okay, so what do you do to keep them? Well, what kind of camp meeting do you run? Is your camp even active? Are you doing anything? Do you have a regular meeting? Because Eric and I were talking a few months back. Eric Pravetti and I were talking a few months back, and we think it could be as much as 20% of our camps don't have a regular meeting place since COVID. Because let's say they were meeting at a restaurant and the restaurant closed. Okay, so now they don't have a new place to meet. They're meeting at a cemetery or somebody's house or something like that. Well, if you're meeting at somebody's house, how long is that going to go? Before it's an inconvenience and somebody gets upset about it or whatever. And then, so we could have as much as 20% that aren't meeting regular. Okay, well, and that's going to cause us to lose members over time. So you have to do these things to where you keep people interested. Now, I'm a firm believer in giving them a job. You come in, a member comes in, and put somebody with them, talk to them, find out what they're interested in, what they're good at, and what they're bad at. And then, all of us are good at one thing, and all of us are bad at one thing. So, find out what somebody's good at, what they like doing, and find a job for them. Even if you have to make up a job, give them a job and get them out there doing something and get them interested. I come up with the idea, and our camp is doing this next month, is we're gonna have a family fun night. This is where we're going to have, it's going to be a potluck. The camp is going to cook the meat, and we'll have smoked bologna and barbecue and hamburgers and hot dogs and that kind of stuff. And then we're just asking the rest of the camp members who come and, to bring a side dish or dessert or drink or whatever, and then bring the family. And we're not going to have a meeting. We're not going to get boring and anything like that, or listen to, somebody and the kids get bored. We're going to have kids games. Why can't we do something like that? I mean, it's because it's to get people, because let's just say that if some guy's wife is questioning him, Confederate what, and then she comes and she sees that we're not demons with hoof feet and all of this stuff, she sees that we're just good guys and we're out there working to protect our history, and then see that we're not a bunch of demons. And all of a sudden she is okay with it. So, you realize that, and I kind of think about it this way, and I've realized I'm going on, and I apologize for that. But it was think about the UCV, when these guys, these were the soldiers themselves, and they had finished, the war's over with. It's 20, 30 years later, and they're getting together. What did they do? They socialized. Yep. They sat and they talked to each other. They rekindled old friendships. They met new friends. Okay. Somebody that might have fought in Virginia, never fought in Louisiana, and now they're at a reunion and they meet and they become friends. So they were, in essence, a social club, and we are a historical organization. So, let's just work all of this together. At least that's my feelings on it.
That's exactly, because one of the mothers of a camp member of my camp came up with the idea, let's do a bowling night or something. I'm like,
sure,
that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah,
we get the families together.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting it done.
Yes.
I did just get this from our division commander. He's in the chat. What's your opinion, sir, on the new Florida Henley metal design? You mean Hunley, sir?
Yes. I looked at it, and Calvin has been gracious enough to work on this. It's we're the metal itself. I think the new metal. There is, first of all, I think it's a lot cleaner. I think the metal itself is a lot cleaner. Where I liked it, there is a certain piece on it to the names of the final crew are on the back, and I think that is just a spectacular touch. Can't wait to see it in person. Send it on paper. It is a very clean looking metal. It's a very good looking metal. It is distinguishable from the original, which it has to be, because the original one, it can't match the original one. It can't be like the original. It has to be different. And there's a bar. If I remember it right, there's a bar across the top, which I like. But I just, the idea of having, and the design's cleaner. It's more crisp. It's not blurry. It's precise in what is done. But the names on the back, I think it is a wonderful, wonderful touch. And I thank Calvin for being gracious enough to work on that.
Jack, not at this moment, unless our division commander just emailed me him. No, he didn't. Not yet.
Well, let's get one in person, and let's all get to looking at it and see what we got before we start sharing with general public. It's not what I would prefer to do is, okay, let's get it and let's make sure that this is what we think it is before we populate it out to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because once it makes it one place, possibilities are endless.
Yep.
So
you're correct, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's here, guys. Keep our commander in chief's here. Keep the questions rolling. Once we get to Arkansas, he's going to be a busy man. We all are.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So I'm going to ask Florida a question.
Yeah.
What's Florida working on?
My camp, we just got done doing a 4th of July parade down in Everglades City. And here's the fun part about it. They put us right behind the mayor, and he loved it.
There you go. Yes. Yes. I've been seeing. I haven't gone back and looked through some of the questions. Is if I happen to catch something out of the corner of my eye. Florida's currently working on trying not to drown in sweat. Yes, I can believe you on that.
Cameron, come down to my neck of the woods.
I can pop through and see if anybody says anything. It might strike up something. Someone happens to have a question, you want to pop in here and say something, go right ahead. I thought I saw something pop in. What recruitment efforts may be offered to visitors at the museum at Elm Springs? Well, there is a hope in the plan. What we're going to do is we're going to end up with, right now we have people there, if that are volunteering during the week. And if somebody comes up, shows interest, we start the recruiting process on them then. It wasn't too long ago. I signed, it was before I went to the Texas Division reunion. I ended up having a gentleman, his wife, and young kids come in, and he knew some of his genealogy. and we popped into the library real quick, and we went through some things, and ended up getting his genealogy and sending it. He left with a copy. I found a camp that was in probably 20 minutes from where he lived, and I contacted the camp adjutant and the camp commander and got the information to them. So, it is a recruiting tool, but it is one of those things that you have to be very diligent on. People have a tendency. I was doing a tour on Thursday, and I was walking from the museum up to the house, and I was talking about Confederate Memorial Hall sign, which is the sign the UDC put up on the property from the Confederate Memorial Hall that was taken down at Vanderbilt. And some people just come walking by us, and they were walking all over the property, and they never checked in at the museum. They just walked onto the property, started looking at everything, and turned around and walked themselves off. When I was given a house tour a couple of months ago, and all of a sudden I heard somebody coming in the front door, and we were upstairs. So when I come down the steps, they didn't buy a ticket. They just come onto the property and decided they were going to start looking around, and they saw the house was open because I had the house open to do the tour. So they just come on in the house and started looking around, and then got mad when I told them that no, they had to have a ticket, and they got mad and they left. So there are those people that are in this world that want absolutely everything and don't want to have to pay for it. So you always have to have the due diligence. So that's the reason why we need people volunteering there. We need somebody that's going to be inside the museum, because if I'm the volunteer that day and I'm having to do home tours, if somebody needs help in the museum, there's questions, or somebody comes in and they need to be recruited, I can't if I'm at the house. Now we can get the guys or the people that are there working, our workers, to help recruit, and they do. They'll sit there and they'll talk to somebody, take down the information. But there has to be this due diligence of when you start, and you have to see it all the way through. So, it's we need more people volunteering. But as far as what what the museum itself is going to be doing, right now, I would say that I have signed up about 8 members. I think the people that have come through doing tours. I'm sure that there have been some that have slipped away, that never made contact with again. Almost everybody leaves there with the literature. So, we're giving them the recruiting pamphlets and stuff like that to leave with. So the museum itself is educational, but it is also been using it as a recruiting tool. And now that we're going to be, we got an event coming up at the end of the month, the Cruise In. At the Cruise In, we will have a recruiting booth set up there during the Cruise In. So, maybe we can, get some people interested. Now, the people say, they like to judge it. Okay, well, we stayed at a recruiting booth for 6 hours and we didn't sign up anybody. Well, sometimes the main point is to get your information out there, and you end up getting people later because somebody will talk about something or will leave something out. Somebody go to somebody's house. What's this? And that kind of thing. So the main thing is to get the information that's out there, and hopefully it'll pay back. But it has to be worked, and there has to be due diligence. And all of us are just, we're all in this together. So we all need to support each other, and we all need to work together. And if you get somebody and you find out somebody, a lot of people we come in, they're not from Tennessee. They're from other places. I'm not going to put them in a Tennessee camp. I want these people to go where they're comfortable, where it's close to the house, so they can make their camp meetings and get active and do all of this. So it's, I send people. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I saw some Cameron, last time I was there is one, and they close it at night. Jason, do you want to take that question?
Which one is it? Well, we don't have a gate right now. We're working on funding for the gate. As you know, we have security after hours. We have armed guards. We do have cones that we have up. Now the front, we do have a gate across it. Working with the gate that we're going to need to do in the back, because we have the museum there, is going to have to be one of those gates that is going to be decibel activated. So when the fire truck pulls up, it can hit its horn and it'll sound off at a decibel. The gate will open. So in case we do have a fire or something like that on the property, the fire trucks and everybody can get on there and start working on it. But no, we don't, because we started getting a bid on it. And at one time we could not get the material. The last time we could get the material and we got a bid, it was in excess of $30,000 for the gate. So right now we're working on funding for the gate. But as having the gate is only going to help after hours, it's not going to help any of the stuff during the day, because the gates will open. Let's say that we open at 8 o'clock. The gates are open at 8 o'clock automatically. And then let's say we close at 5, they close automatically at 5. So that any of this stuff that happens during the day with people pulling up, getting out of their vehicle and walking all over the property, that's just going to have to be somebody out there with some due diligence that's free, that can say, hey, can I help y'all? And they say, well, we'd like to look around. Well, that'd be $10 to use the property, that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can look around, but if you want to walk around the property, it's going to cost you $10, because we have things there. Yeah. We have all of these benches that everybody's been so generous to donate. We have the Robert E. Lee statue. That's a copy of the one from Statuary Hall. We have the Jefferson Davis statue that came from Memphis. We have the original family cemetery, the Dicks, the Todds, and the Loonies. They were the original family there. And, 3 generations of them, they lived in the house nearly 100 years. We have their cemetery that's there. Then we have the grave of Simeon Cummins, the soldier from the CSS Alabama. And then we have a fellow by the name of General Nathan Bedford Forrest, So we, the sons, all of us, we have a very interesting, very busy piece of property that people want to come and look at. And there's a lot of people that just want to pull up, walk out there, see Forrest's grave, take a picture of him on King Philip, and leave. And there has to be somebody out there to monitor that. Yeah. We do have cameras and we do see them. And there's times that we go out and they're walking off. And if the house is ever open, people walk around and see if the doors are open and go in. So this is during the day. You don't have to worry about any of this after hours. So when I do a home tour, I lock the house as I leave. That way nobody can just walk up and walk in the house. And that's an inconvenience, because I have to go and unlock the house to be able to do the tour. But it's better than walking over there and somebody's wandering around upstairs. Can't have that.
Yeah, it's also a liability too.
Oh, yes. Somebody mentioned something about a card, and I found it. This is an idea that come from the Missouri division. So I'm going to give the Missouri division credit for this. This is what it is. It's about the size of a business card. Let me get it here in front of this. About the size of a business card, but it's trifold. And this is like on the back of it. Steps to join the Sons of Confederate Veterans.
Oh, okay.
Then what we do, it tells about our organization. And that's all on the back of it. So when they see it, this is what they see. They open it up and they see the back. And on the inside of it, it's who we are.
Yeah.
Key points of Missouri in the Civil War and famous Confederate Missourians. So you can have this, just a simple little business card. You know, I think this is a wonderful idea, and this is one that I'm working on that I would like to have at the museum so that somebody can just pick this up and walk off with it. It can't cost you hardly anything to print one. It's print some of these. So I think this is a good idea. I know somebody put something out there. So I think this is a possibility. Somebody put something out there about giving them, and this is one of these ways to recruit. Plus, we have the regular recruiting stuff out there. I noticed Calvin said, be like Graceland, stop them at the gate. That'll probably be the deal that will happen when we get to the point where we need to be, in which they'll have to pay to enter the property. Yeah, and that's where we would end up. That's where I'm planning on being. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. It's going to take time, resources, money, and people. So, but that's as big as this world is. There's no reason in thinking small. You have to think big. And thinking big is, okay, where does this museum need to be? It needs to be where people are paying before they're ever coming on the property. And maybe even at the point where people are buying tickets in advance and they have to scan their tickets on their phone when they get there to be able to enter into the property. And, that's what I'm hearing some of these places are doing. If you want onto the property, you have to buy a ticket ahead of time. And you scan your ticket, and you can get onto the property. So maybe that's where we end up.
Yeah, because the part of going to the reinterment I really enjoyed was the everything was on Eventbrite, where you got that receipt, and as we came in, we showed those. Yes.
Yeah, you actually had a ticket, and you had a barcode on it, and we scanned the ticket, and you could come onto the property at that point. And I think that we could eventually get there. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, and we're working toward getting there. It's just going to take time, money, resources, and humans.
Yep.
So that's where we are with it.
That's right, Linda. That trifold card that Commander was just showing does look cool.
Yes. It's handy. I think it was a great idea, and I'm working on one now. It's just right now I'm kind of a little thing called getting ready, getting the budget, and then, dealing with the audits and, just the job itself and getting ready for a reunion. I haven't accomplished a lot of these little tasks that I say, but this could be something good. Counts could work on to recruit, divisions could provide, to me, I could just say, I'm in the Tennessee division. I could say the Tennessee division printing up, 5,000 of these and giving them out to the counts to hand out to recruit. It couldn't cost a whole lot of money, but somebody's got to sit down, somebody's got to plan it, somebody's got to write it, and somebody's got to see it, like I said, from beginning to end. And that's where we are. We need people stepping up and making stuff like that happen.
Yeah. In the museum, I know you, Adam, have talked about the QR codes in the museum. Has that come to fruition, and how much attraction are you getting from it?
Oh man, the QR codes they're kind of the life of the party. Especially now the older people that we had coming through, they were doing a whole lot of reading. A lot of the younger ones are doing the reading, and they'll do all that, and they'll come across that QR code, and phones start coming out, and they're hitting these QR codes and getting, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. and that is, it's generating a lot of business. It really is, and hoping to get a report soon on which appears to be the most hit QR codes, because then you know the subject that more people are interested in. I know that, and I saw him on here earlier, Michael C. Hardy. He wrote the article for Gettysburg, and it has gotten a tremendous amount of, as you said, traction, and it's been read a lot, and it's in the QR code, and we have others in the QR code. So I think it was a great idea because there's only so much room we can have. But if you do it virtually, you're limitless, pretty much. So this is, and right now we haven't really got into the heavy subject of it yet, but it's coming, because some of this we have already that they've been on the wall now for a couple of years, and there could be a time. I'm not going to say in the foreseeable future or in the immediate future that we're going to have to start rotating some panels out that we have on the wall, because we're going to need to actually change the information. We can't leave everything. A museum has to change. It can't stay sedentary. It's not like and you're never going to be done with it. You're always going to be working on it. You're always going to be shuffling stuff in and out. You're always going to be putting new things on display, because if you put it some way and you leave it, people will stop coming. And, we want this to be where everybody could come once a year and get something new, get something different. And that's the reason why I think in time, right now, we've got quite a few artifacts coming in. So we're probably good with some of the stuff on the wall, but it's not going to be too long to where we're starting about rotating some stuff in. And I've got a couple of things that I need to write for it as well. So museum's always going to be growing. It's always going to be working on.
Yep. It got to evolve to get our
yes.
To get our
You're
story,
right.
our message out.
You're right. You have to.
All right. Any more questions for our Commander-in-Chief?
And I see where David Pope has talked about writing the Lee biography. And I know he wrote it. I honestly haven't had a chance to get over there and read that yet. It's like today, I was there for 3 hours, but we were moving in merchandise, we had artifacts coming in. So I'm generally, when I'm there, I'm generally tied up doing something else. And I haven't made it all the way around the wall yet. I'm going to be honest with you. The Kennedy twins article section on Reconstruction, I haven't read it yet. And it's just because I haven't made it over there, and I'm in there all the time, but I'm not in there to see the museum. I'm in there because I have things I need to do. Yeah. So, if I have a free time, I'm in the library putting covers on books to be able to put on the shelf. So, it's always something to do.
Oh, yeah.
And as Victor Smith, are there any plans or ideas for interactive exhibits for the museum? Yes. We will be doing those. We do have some more plans, but like everything, we're trying to get it to the point that we have a lot of artifacts in there, and somebody can come in, and if they want to take a very short brief of time and breeze through, they could. But if it's somebody who's heavy into detail, kind of nerdy like me, and they want to take 3 or 4 hours to go through there, we've got some good information for them. And now that we're at that point, now we can start expanding. We are working right now to getting more cabinets in, like the big white ones that we have. So as these artifacts come in, we will be filling all of these cases in. So, yes. And then we will start looking at some of the interactive stuff. But, yes, that has been talked about.
Cameron, thank you for joining the chat tonight. I did want to ask you, and I know you were working on this as Lieutenant Commander. The the brick pavers and the benches. How's that coming?
Well, the benches. Trying to think of the number we have down now. We have either 8 or 9 down now. We have 4 more that are on order, and then we were going to do the bricks and the pavers. We are debating when we're going to start that project, and what I mean by that, and I'll be specific about what I'm fixing to say, because we have the Forest Plaza. Now, one of the things when we were talking to everybody was we were going to do the walkway from the General Robert E. Lee statue all the way out to where Forrest is buried. Well, looking at the amount of dirt that we're going to have to move, we don't feel like that we can start anything out there until that project happens and is over with, because we're going to tear up bricks, we're going to tear up pavers, we're going to put them down to take them back up. So right now our conversation is on the Jeff Davis Memorial Garden, and where the Jeff Davis statue is, to the side of it, we have a pretty good sized little open area. And we have had a gentleman that he's ordered 2 benches, and he was wanting the benches to be put in this memorial garden because he was there one time, and it's Pastor Charles Jennings out of Oklahoma. And we were talking, and I said, yeah, we want to do a memorial garden for Jeff Davis. And he said, well, I'd like for my benches to be there. So it looks like that's where we're going to start the bricks and the pavers. Because if we get started over here at the Forest deal, it's going to be a waste, because I'm amazed at what they're saying of how much dirt that we're going to have to move to get that statue and to get the whole plaza the way that it needs to be. It's going to be a pretty good size undertaking. The plaza itself is big. It's 50 feet deep and 75 feet wide. So the plaza itself is a monster. And now you take all of this earth moving equipment. And for us to build the plaza, can't move those stones with the front end loader. You know, they're actually having to talk and bring cranes out there and lower them into place. So it's going to be a pretty big project on that, and put the bricks and pavers out there. And that's what we told everybody, that we were going to be building them out there, and we were going to do the walkway out there. And now we're going, I don't think that's a smart idea, but when we get to National Reunion, I'll be talking about this. And if everybody kind of gives the nod that they're okay with the bricks and the pavers going in the Jeff Davis Garden, then we'll start that project, and we'll be getting big bricks and pavers down. So I just didn't want to just up and change it on my own without telling everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you talk to everybody about it, then, you know, we've mentioned it a couple of times on SCB chat. I mentioned it on here. I'll mention it at reunion. And, you know, and if everybody goes, yeah, we're okay with that, then we'll get started.
Yeah. All righty. Oh, man, I just realized the time, sir.
Uh-oh, I got 8:24 here. It's 9:24 there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Anyway, hey, these, you know, we had good conversation tonight, a lot of updates from you, sir. And I personally, I just want to say thank you. And hopefully we can get together next week.
Well, and I'll be seeing you next week. Yeah. Thank you for having me on. I want to thank you for what you're doing to help promote our organization and promote Southern history, and for what you're doing with Helping Florida. I appreciate the effort. I know it takes effort. I know it takes time and planning. And I want you to know that I appreciate all the effort that you're going in, that you're putting into this. And I appreciate everybody that tune in. Time is one of our most valuable resources, and you agreed to take a little bit of time to visit with us and to listen to my ramblings. I know I talked a great deal, and it was, and it's just my honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And if I can help you, I will. And if you need me to come on again or want me to come on again, just let me know and we'll work out another time.
Not a problem, sir. Thank you for the updates. and coming on the show, and especially telling us about some of the hiccups up at National. So a lot of us have an idea because honestly, it's got to be my first one, official one. The one I went to was back in 2000, and that was a fluke because of a distant cousin of mine. I was up there for a reenactment. He goes, "You're an SCV member?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "You know our national reunion is this week?" And I said, "No, where is it?" He said, "Right down the road in Charleston."
Okay.
I'm like, "Okay, I'll go with you. What do I need to do?" I'll take care of all that. His camp was the host camp at the time.
Okay. Well, it's I enjoy national reunions. I've gotten addicted to them. I enjoy going. I enjoy visiting with everybody.
Oh yeah.
And it's everybody. Yes, we're going to have some room changes. They've already informed us that the hotel's going to have to swap some rooms around. Don't know to what detail and everything yet, but the schedule's already been printed. But we're going to have to make these announcements. So everybody pay attention to the announcements because we'll be making them throughout the day, each business day to keep everybody informed of all the changes as we get faced with them. It's just one of these things that happens and you just adapt and move on. You can't get hung up on it.
Correct. Will some of those changes go out that you're aware of now? Changes that I've made, will that be going out on the Telegraph?
Yes, sir. It's actually going to be going out on the Telegraph tomorrow. So you're going to be seeing some of that tomorrow, but you got it first here tonight.
Yep.
But you'll have it on there. But that doesn't mean that's the end of the changes. Just because, we could get rolling and all of a sudden they go, "Hey, you got to use this and this and this." And we'll just adapt and we'll overcome. It's just that simple.
I know me and you earlier were talking about our historian in chief. He just joined the chat.
Hey, there's old Forrest. Yes. But don't worry, Forrest. I talked about you. You don't have to ask anybody what I said. Yeah.
Hey, we're on YouTube too, so you can go back and watch any episode. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, sir. I was going to say that it's really an honor to be on. Thank you for having me. And if you need me again, just give me a holler. I'll be happy to come on.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And on the behalf of the Florida division, I just want to say thank you. And I'm sure everybody in the division and throughout the Confederation appreciated it, sir.
Well, and it was my honor. And I thank Florida. Florida is, I've been down there multiple times. I've always enjoyed myself. You've had great division commanders every time that I've been down. Everybody's been active. Everybody's been working. And I know that 2-word phrase, Florida strong. I almost put my shirt on, my pullover that has Florida strong and the logo on it. And I wish now that I had, but how about we do that the next time? I'll make sure that I put my Florida strong shirt on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm trying to keep mine nice and pressed for the get together Friday night.
There you go.
But I do got my division hat on, so.
Oh yes, I hadn't seen that hat. Yes, I have. I have seen that hat. Yeah, it's a good looking hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And guys, we've been going at this for an hour and a half. Unfortunately, I got to work tomorrow, and I'm sure our commander-in-chief is very busy tomorrow.
I will be getting stuff ready for National Reunion, and I'll be leaving out sometime because Thursday night I get to do something very, very special. I get to say a few words to the children of the Confederacy in Columbia, South Carolina, and I am very, very honored to do that. So I'm looking forward to that very much so.
That's cool, sir.
Yes, sir. So I have a few things to do between here and there.
Yep. Well, that's the thing is can't keep a good man down.
Yeah. Just get back up and keep going.
Exactly.
You know, all we have to do is outlast them.
Yeah, look at Forrest. Look at how many horses that were shot from under him, and he still got back up.
No, yes. All right.
All right, sir. Thank you. You have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
It's great to see you. Thank you. Y'all be safe traveling, and I'll see y'all in Hot Springs.
All right, sir. Have a good night, sir.
You too, sir.
I was thinking of our division commander today. So, and something that he likes. Wait, I had it all planned out and I goofed it up. What are you going to do, brother, when the Florida division runs wild on you? See you next week, guys. Have a good night, and I appreciate you, Commander.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Good night.
We're going to sign off with one of the videos on Faces of the SCV. So next week, just give everybody a heads up. There will not be a show Tuesday night. I'll be on the road going to National. Now, we will be going live periodically to give you guys some updates on stuff that's going on. Me, Moose, and GCB are planning on doing a combined show together. So keep your eyes open for that. You know, as most of you know, we're on Facebook. We're also on YouTube too. So feel free to share the episodes. Get them out there to your camps so they have an idea of what's going on in this lovely, great organization. We got to inspire our members to be able to grow, 2, to retain. With that being said, have a good night. Stay Southern. Drink plenty of water. I mean, if you guys are like me down here in the Everglades, we're hotter than a python going to water.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. You know, my father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up, or we would have done something then. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive.
The Sons of Confederate Veterans is the direct heir of the United Confederate Veterans and the oldest hereditary organization for male descendants of Confederate soldiers. Organized at Richmond, Virginia in 1896, the SCV continues to serve as a historical, patriotic, and non-political organization dedicated to ensuring that a true history of the 1861 to 1865 period is preserved. Membership in the SCV is open to all male descendants of any veteran who served honorably in the Confederate Armed Forces.
It is my birthright. My ancestors fought and bled and died. Because of their sacrifice, it gives me not only the eligibility to join, but it's my duty to join the organization. Their blood flows through my veins. Their struggles and triumphs are what made my family what it was, and in a sense made me who I am today. We're to defend the Confederate soldier's good name, that he fought for a noble cause, that he fought for his home, his wife, his children, and his descendants. We're to guard his history, which to me, it's the monuments, it's the headstones, as well as the actual written history of what happened during that war.
The citizen soldiers who fought for the Confederacy personified the best qualities of America. The preservation of liberty and freedom was the motivating factor in the South's decision to fight the Second American Revolution. The tenacity with which the Confederate soldiers fought underscored their belief in the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. These attributes are the underpinning of our democratic society and represent the foundation on which this nation was built. Today, the Sons of Confederate Veterans is preserving the history and legacy of these heroes, so future generations can understand the motives that gave life to the Southern cause.
We need to draw the line in the sand right now. These are our Confederate monuments. These are our Southern heroes, and you're not going to take them down. Right now, if we do not protect our heritage and present it as it truly was, it's going to be lost forever.
The memory and reputation of the Confederate soldier, as well as the motives for his suffering and sacrifice, are being purposely distorted in an attempt to alter history. And unless the descendants of Southern soldiers resist those efforts, a unique part of our nation's cultural heritage will cease to exist.
My commitment to the SCV is a commitment to our heritage, our cause, not in a violent way nor an aggressive way, simply in the way we live. Live what you believe, but in your defense, know in what you're defending and defend it truthfully.
If you were interested in perpetuating the ideals that motivated your Confederate ancestor, the SCV needs you. Simply visit www.scv.org today. Our genealogists are ready to help you trace your Confederate heritage.
We're not just some history club. We are a fraternal organization who is essentially the last guardians whose duty it is to defend American and Southern history.